So today we're going to be stripping apart the turbo 1.8 motor that came out of the Miata. If you guys have been following the channel for a while, you would know that this is my third motor that I put in that car. It lost compression on cylinder 2. It still ran and drove when we pulled it, but it would misfire at idle because cylinder 2 was so low on compression and it didn't run great. It was definitely down on power. So we're going to get it on the stand, strip it apart, and kind of, see what the problem is. I have my predictions, which we'll get to when we get to there. So first thing we're going to do is take the clutch off. Pretty standard process here. Pull the pressure plate. This oil line is in my way. There we go. Pilot bearing falls out every time. This is a like $80 eBay clutch, and the disc still looks fine. We'll go over this in a second. I put it on 3. This isn't even my big boy. This is the daily carry. So it looks like we've got a bit of leaking from here, which is weird because I put this is a new rear main seal. Not quite sure why that is. Grab our transmission bolts here. I always run the simple short ones. And there's one of these trans bolts that is a bolt and a nut. I try to avoid using this one, but I feel like I have to. I don't know. We'll check. We shall see. I've done this so many times and I never remember what I'm doing. Alright, so we need to loosen this up to adjust these guys. Okay, how do I do this? I feel like, yeah, I think it's that. It's like one up here. We can never get it threaded. One. Oh, you know what? I'm not smart. Let's take this dust cover off. Yeah, there we go. Don't need that. Yeah, I think I use these 2 top ones normally, and then like 2 of the bottom ones. I try to, you want to grab the block because we're going to take the pan off. So you want to make sure you don't bolt in here because then you can't take the pan off, which would be annoying. If I remember correctly, this is kind of annoying to do. I think this is going to require the longer bolts. Yeah, that is what I thought. Unless these are not threaded. Let's see. Okay, that one's threaded. That one's not. So we did need this nut and bolt combo for this side. I knew we needed it for some reason, which is not long enough to go through, of course. So we can use this long one on this side. Then we'll have to find an even longer one for this side over here. I'm pretty sure this is what I've used in the past. It's just a big piece of all thread. If you had a really long bolt, that would work just fine. I don't have one, or I didn't feel like looking for one that was long enough to do this. And we want this to go out the other way. Because if you have it sticking out too far here, it hits the stand and you can't spin it around. All mistakes I've learned from. Always learn from your mistakes. It's important. Crucial. Otherwise you'll just keep messing up. Which is fine too, but I try not to. I try to avoid messing up as much as possible. I think these are 19s as well. Yeah, that's not going anywhere. Okay. Then we tighten these up. I always wait until I tighten the like bolt it to the block before I tighten these, because sometimes they need to move a little bit to get everything squared up nice, which actually I want to bring this up higher if we can. Yeah, that's a bit better. Good enough. Alright, so we'll just throw the chain on here. Please be a 15. Of course it's a 14. Damn it.
Yeah. Small swap the tires here.
This is just the reverse process of the LS. Just gonna lift it up, put it on the stand, then we can take it apart. All this work just to take it apart for fun. I of course took the air compressor back today because it wasn't quiet enough. And now I wish I had it.
Watch the movies. So yeah, after like the 15th. Those things always sketch me out, but I mean, I guess they hold the engine.
Just through it was like
amazing drip pan, so I don't have an oil fiasco again. The oil spill of 2016, I think. Oh god, there's so much. Alright, before we get started here, a couple notes and my prediction. So, notes. This motor was freshly rebuilt. We did new bearings. Alright, we're done.
One bearing in, that's it, that's all it needs.
No, we don't need multiple bearings. Why would we need multiple bearings?
It's like,
Look at Alberto over there on the phone, not even helping. He claims to be a master engine builder. I can't hear you. Go find that Cuban girl again.
oh man!
New rings.
You go like this, and it comes right out. Then you do the next one. This is ridiculous. This changes the game. Like, I can do this all day. How many pistons we got? 8? 12? I'm doing it.
We got
Let's
four.
go.
We got four, Marco. Boom. Three stone honed the cylinders. New head gasket. It had ARP head studs in it. So I mean, pretty much a completely fresh rebuild, all new gaskets and everything. So I'm kind of curious how everything still looks inside. I'd be willing to bet that everything still looks nice and new, but cylinder 2, I'm gonna guess we have a lean issue, so the piston's like semi-melted. I don't think it's ring lands, which is kind of, we were in between before, whether was it ring lands or was it melted piston, because you could see like the detonation marks and the melting down the skirt. So these are the old pistons, which I didn't really show you guys in detail. So explain what that is that they're looking at, Alberto.
The right there is melted piston caused by detonation.
And I think that's what we're gonna see today when we take this thing apart. The reason being, so here's the injector harness. These are not the like OEM clips because they are RX-7 injectors. So what the previous owner did was he cut the wires, crimped these on, butt connected them, and what we noticed was when we took them apart, the number 2 literally just fell apart. Like the connection basically wasn't there anymore. So what I believe is that I was getting intermittent signal to cylinder 2 for fuel. So obviously less fuel, lean. So that cylinder was probably running lean like the entire time, the entire 3 motors. So if you followed along for a while, you know what's come before all of this. So yeah, let's get to stripping it down. It's pretty easy. I should be able to get this thing torn down really quick. We'll try to do minimal cuts because I think I can do this real fast. All right, so we're just gonna start by getting all the stuff that's in the way, out of the way, like this hose. So we're not digging around a bunch of crap. Probably gonna get coolant splashing out of here, potentially. Maybe not. Oh, this is the one. That hose is so hard to put on because it's right next to this clamp and this piece here. We'll go ahead and pull this coolant line off while we're here. Oh, of course that thing's on there. Oh, we're cutting it. Let that drain. Of course it just wants to miss the pan entirely. Alright, hose off. Throw that over here. Take the coil packs off and the coil packs bracket. Okay, coil pack bracket. To take apart one of these motors, you mostly need 12, 14, and 10 millimeter. Go ahead and get this oil line out of the way here. It's a little loose. Of course this one's on there too. Alright, we're cutting that one too. Alright. Ta-da! We'll wait for the valve cover. Let's get everything stripped down so it's a bare long block first. I think that's gonna be our best plan. To save the sensor that you probably can't see. Now you can. This is one of those that's really annoying to get to. I guess I could take the coolant reroute off. Yeah, let's do that. Let's be smart. And 12 or 14? Probably a 13. Close enough. Alright, intake manifold first. Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. 14s, you do need to bust the injector. Oh, they're 13s. I lied. Maybe 12s. Maybe they're 12s. Maybe I'm wrong on both accounts. They're 12s. They're definitely 12s. So, don't worry about the metal hitting the ground. I'm not worried about it, so you shouldn't be either. Alright, so don't worry about pulling the injectors like completely out. They'll kind of come out with the intake manifold. I've made that mistake a bunch of times. Just kind of leave them in here and pop the intake manifold off, which should also be 12s. Okay. Yeah, also 12s. Need our bolt bucket. But it's a bunch of, you need a lot of extensions. A lot of extensions. And you can, I think you can get all of them off with impact, if I remember correctly. Oh, got that one. We are going to save these bolts for our bolt drawer. Bolt drawers are important. I'll just pick them out of the oil down there. Oh, come on. Okay, that one doesn't want to let go. Rounded it off there. Oh no. Okay, we're gonna pull this filter off, this oil fitting tee with the oil pressure sensor, which we need to save anyway, and then we'll be able to get the wrench here and pull it off. Change of plans. Of course, this oil filter is also in there like swimwear. Oh no, we got it. We got it. Here comes, water. I heard two dripping noises. This fuel was coming out and all over my sleeve and oil. Alright. I'm gonna pull this guy off. You need to open this up a little bit. These Knipex covers only really work one direction, which is this direction. Let's see if it's loosened up. Oh man. I gotta remember that I'm reusing some of this stuff. I think I have a wrench for this. I should probably grab it. Yeah, there we go. Alright. We'll just use the same pliers to get this tee off. Try to at least. I feel like I usually use a wrench for that. We've lost the beanie. It's too cold. 13 mil, please be right. No, of course it's a 14. Nope, of course it's not a 14. You think it's gonna be a 15 or am I gonna be wrong again? No, we're right. We got it this time. All right. All this because the bolt, well, I had to take this stuff off anyway, but it's annoying. Get this stripped nut off here. Well, they're good. Oh, come on, why is this even so tight? Yeah, that's what we should have done in the first place. Rest of these out here. Oh, come on. When in doubt, grab a bigger power tool. Yeah, like it's nothing. All right. See if we can't get this one. This would suck to do with just wrenches. One more. Yep, there we go. Try to collect my nuts here. Oh, come on. Well, I guess you might as well pull the injectors off the thing. But, I mean, it's going to be easier to pull them out like this. Ah, bath and fuel. Sick. Damn it. One. Two. I need this though. And three with the O-rings. Important. Got the fourth one down here. So we got all the injectors. These are also going with the turbo kit. All right, so for this part, there's less bolts, but they're more annoying to get to. So we can get most of the bottom ones and these corner ones with the impact. We'll leave one of them so that we'll do, so do the hard part first, because you don't want the thing to start falling off and be hanging on the one that's annoying to get to, because then you have to like wrench it all the way out. So we'll get these most of the way out first, but the manifold does have to move for them to come off all the way. I'll show you what I mean by that. So if you look right there, it's not wanting to focus. So if you look right there, you can see that the nut can't come all the way off. It'll hit this. So we'll get these loosened up most of the way, this one and this guy over here, and then unbolt the rest, and then those will come off last. Ta-da! I can't say ta-da yet. How are you taking it off? You know what? Let's also take the oil drain off and stuff, so we're not dangling by all this stuff first. We got the oil feed off, we got this coolant line off, we need to undo this coolant line, which means cut it. At this point, cut, okay. I think I normally take it off from the turbo, but I don't feel like finding Allen keys right now. Okay, is anything gonna fall out of that? No, okay. Now the turbo can come off. 14 mil wrench. You guys have no idea. Well, some of you who used to have a crappy toolbox and now have a nice toolbox might have an idea how nice it is to be able to find all my stuff like so quick. I know exactly where everything is, which I kind of knew before, but I couldn't make everything super easy to access. Okay, so that one's as far off as it's gonna go. Break this one loose. See, all right. All right, this really isn't in focus, but it was like a half turn of breaking it loose, and now I can just get it off by my finger. If all these were off and the manifold was pulling on it, obviously wouldn't be able to do that, which I'm sure most of you know. But if you don't know, that's a good way to work on things. Like, let's say you don't have the right amount of extensions and swivels or whatever. You didn't take all the rest of it apart for no reason. Always try to tackle the hardest parts first. That's what I do, at least. Okay, now we should be able to get the rest of these off. 1, 2, get off there. That's not gonna fit. That one we're not gonna get, so let's get these two. There's a couple more under here that are mildly difficult to get to. Oh no, I don't want to tighten you. There we go. Maybe. Finally, God, that was annoying. It's one of those where like you can get like a quarter turn and then it like kind of gets finger loose for another quarter turn and then it tightens up, kind of thing. Getting this thing off. This has ironically been up. We dropped the bolt down the spark plug hole. Oh no. Are there any more missing? Yes. Almost left it dangling by another annoying one. Luckily I didn't like bolt tighten these on, because that would be ultra annoying. Oh, and this one's finger loose once I broke it loose. My neighbors have got to be like, who is that guy talking to when he's working in his garage? Manifold broken loose. Okay. And grab the rest of these now. Okay. That's everything but the one that fell down in there. Which we're gonna get now, because if not, I'll have to get it later, and I don't feel like getting it later. Got it. Stick magnet, also a very valuable tool. Alright. Water's gonna come rushing out of this, so let's, yeah. This pan's like just in the wrong spot for it to catch all of it, like everything so far. There we go. Okay. Oh, and there's still the annoying middle one. Got it. Alright, manifold off. So this is where we do a mid-project cleanup. We put up all the tools that we don't know if we're going to use them again, and just kind of like resituate everything, and then we continue on from here. Alright, we're going to go ahead and rip this front guy off real quick. That guy, and that out. I think this is a 13 because that's like the wrong bolt. Of course it is. How dare I try to use the same tool for all the bolts on the same part. Someone just did a fat peel. Oh, this thing's so nasty. Alright. Disgusting alternator off. Okay. Water pump pulley. Let's see. Guess we'll pull this off. So we're going to go ahead and get the crank pulley off now, just because we're going to have to anyway. Appears to be a, yeah, it's a 22. Put this thing on chill mode, number 3. Shouldn't have to get out the big guy for this, maybe though. Nope. It's so funny. Alright, that guy. I can pull off these covers. So dirty. One. Missed a bolt on this one because it's so covered in grease. That one, that one. Okay, take the valve cover off. Ta-da! Look at that beautiful valve cover gasket that it's probably not focused on. This thing's mint, probably leaked, like all of them do. Ooh, we'll save this. Hanging on the wall next to the SR one. Okay, now we need to get the timing off and we can pull the head off. Go ahead and take the, we can leave that on there, honestly. We don't need to take it off. Pulling the timing off on this is fairly easy. We should have moved this first. Let's tighten this back down. Easy enough that even I can screw it up. So you take this spring, I usually use needle nose pliers. Means you unhook it, there's that. And you take this roller, see how it has this slot in it? This is your tensioning roller. Take that loose, you can pull the belt off, and that's that. Fairly simple. So you need a 13 mil 12 point. Luckily the 1/2 inch is deep enough. You would normally need a deep if it was a 3/8. Go ahead and pull these off. Try to rescue the nuts as best we can. We will reuse these or give them to a friend that needs them or whatever. Because they're ARP. AR Pizzle. I think these are only go to like you're only supposed to take them to 60 foot-pounds. Because this thing's ripping them out pretty easy. Grab all the washers. Ooh, this one came loose. Washer, of course, doesn't want to come off. Alright, yeah, we're just gonna take the head off with the washers there. Let me find a good place to set it. Nice dirty towel always comes in handy with stuff like this. Okay, heads off. Let's look at that first. We can see, we're gonna lose all these washers. Let's try to dump them out. There's 4. Turn the brightness down on this flashlight. Well, we got one out, and I can't find the other one right now. So if someone ever wants it, then I'll deal with finding it. So what we're kind of looking for is like obvious spots where the head gasket would have blown and crossed over to a coolant jacket or a oil jacket. We'll be able to see that better on the head gasket itself, but the head looks fine. This is number 2, and there's no damage at all to the chamber, the valves, anything. So we could definitely sell this head, which would help recoup some money. Deck still looks good, we just need to be cleaned off, but all in all, it's still a good head. This thing has very low mileage on it, new valve seals, all that, as you can see by how clean it is inside. So salvageable part, yay. Okay, moving on to the block. Well, this is interesting. Let me get a light. All of the pistons appear to be fine. So why did we have such low compression on number 2? I mean, it looks completely fine. I guess we'll see what it looks like when we pull the pistons out, but I am surprised. I mean, my prediction may still be true, but I expected to see more damage on the top of the piston. Yeah, okay. Let's move on. We'll go ahead and pull these studs out real quick, and then we'll flip the motor over, take the pan off, start pulling piston rods out. Oh my god, this is so much easier to flip than the LS. Remember that stud that I was talking about? Just barely doesn't clear, so we'll go the other way. Oh, yep, that's why we have this pan. It caught most of it. This thing is amazing. I bought it off Jegs. There's one on Amazon for like even more. I think the one on Amazon is like 50 bucks. This one's 30 bucks on Jegs, and it's bigger from what I read on reviews. would highly recommend this. Dang it, I used my dirty towel to clean up already. Or for the head. I hate leaving like water and stuff on the ground. It drives me nuts. Okay, so we're gonna get the motor mounts off because they will be annoying while we're trying to get the pan off. We're gonna check and see if you guys can see me. Yep. We'll also go in the junk bin. Of course, this one I can't get to the thing. Is this hitting something? No. Try to get it one click over. Oh, that's too much. Hammer. There we go. Sometimes shock, well most times, shock is better than raw torque. So instead of doubling up a wrench there, using, like hitting it with a hammer to shock it, in my experience, you snap less bolts that way. And snapped bolts suck if you gotta put it back together. Off. I'm curious if we'll be able to find, I was like, is that clean before I wipe my eye with it? I always get crap on my face because I just wipe my face with my dirty hands. I'm curious if we're gonna be able to figure out what, like where this massive leak is coming from. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell that stuff without like cleaning everything off and then letting it leak some more. I don't know, random thought. I'm just curious because this thing was covered in oil. It was nasty. Okay, we're gonna pull the pan off. So for this one, you need long extension and 10 mil. Because it didn't need to be this long. Don't forget these two. Super long guys. I'm saving all this hardware, by the way, not to reuse it on this motor, but just for random stuff. I rarely ever have to go buy hardware unless I need like 10 of the same length, thread pitch, size bolts. But most of the time, if I need a bolt, I can find it. I have it somewhere in my bolt drawer. Except for those damn 7/16-20 nuts for the trailer brake drums. That was fun. And these come in handy. These little 10 mil. What are they, M8? M8 by 125? M8 or M6 by 10? I don't remember, but these work really well. And when I say work really well, I mean you use them for a lot of stuff. Okay. This is the annoying part, prying this thing off. Take the little baby pry bar here. See if we can get it with that. It's going. There we go. Try not to mess this up either because I'm gonna include this with the turbo kit so that we don't have to drill or tap or do any of that stuff. So what always happens is this, I'll show you when we get it off. I know it's stuck though, and there's no good way to get it unstuck. Yeah, that's what I thought. You know what? I don't need to reuse this, so we're just gonna bend it. There we go. Real quick, There's a bit of metal in here. You can see it in the oil. You guys probably won't be able to see it because it's too dark. But the oil's got a nice silver tint to it. Most of it, especially the stuff down in the bottom of the sump there. So that means that there is some metal, but probably like an average amount for a rebuilt motor. This is what got stuck because there's an RTB gasket. Like you put RTB on top, bottom, and then on the pan, it like sandwiches it between the pan, and it likes to get stuck to the pan side. These are 2 more 10 mils. There's nothing really stuck in the pickup either. You can see, and there's a little bit of debris caught there, but nothing crazy. Alright, let's have a look on the inside here, see if we can see any damage from the bottom. I kind of doubt it, but it's worth a shot. So cylinder 2 would be here. You can see how much oil is still showing in the pistons. We're gonna flip this thing back over and let it drain into this pan. Yeah, I guess we're just gonna have to pull them out and see, which we were gonna do anyway. Just was curious if we'd see anything from the top. All right. 14, just like everything else on here. So much oil. I would have been better off not using gloves on this, so I didn't get the gloves so dirty. One cap off. 2. Come on. Okay, well, do some friendly force here. 1. There we go. We have to spin the crank a little bit just to get it to where it's not hitting the side of the block. All right, well, from what I can tell, pretty inconclusive. There's no excessive damage to any of the pistons or the rods or the bearings. I'll show you guys what they look like in a second. That one fell out. Where is that one? Oh, that's the one down here. Yeah, I'm really at a loss. Everything looks great. You know, there's some buildup on the top of the pistons, but nothing you wouldn't expect to see out of a turbo motor that you run a little rich. All the rings look fine. There's no like weird damage marks on the rings. No like scraping on the cylinder walls. Pretty inconclusive. Let me show you guys everything up close. So this is number 4. Bearing looks absolutely fine. Do the fingernail test. There's a tiny spot that catches barely. Same with the cap for number 4. That's just oil. Looks fine. Bearing for number 3, fine. Cap for number 3, also fine. There's that little line, but it's not any sort of deep gouge. As you can see, they're not like you'd be looking for like a lot of heat zones and stuff. Like if you saw big heat spots, like they were scored real bad or they were really scratched up from metal getting in between the two. You'd see like big scratches, or if they spun, obviously they would not, you'd know if they were spun, they wouldn't be clipped in like this, and they'd be all tore up. So this is number 2, the cylinder in question, one of the better looking bearings. Completely fine. Piston for cylinder 2. Guess this piston's all that we really need to show here. I mean, to me, it looks completely fine. Like, if I'm missing something major, let me know in the comments. But I mean, the skirt looks fine. There's no cracking. There's these like look like heat marks on pretty much all the pistons. Let's see. It's on number 3. It's on number 4. Yeah, it's on all of them. Top of the piston, completely fine. We already looked at the head. Here's the number 2 cylinder. Let me get a light. Walls look fine. You can still see the hashing from when we 3-stone honed it. All of them look mint still. So as far as our motor build job, I mean, I think we did a good job. Everything held together just fine. It just had some weird issue with cylinder number 2 here. I mean, it could have been a head gasket failure. Let me grab the head gasket out of the trash. Oh. I looked at the block side of things and I didn't really see anything. Let's see, which way does this go? That appears to be correct. I mean, these are all a little torn, but that's transfer over to the head. Same with down here. Transfer to the block, which you can see. I don't know, maybe it was a head gasket. It's hard to tell when you rip them off because a lot of the material transfers over. So you can't, you know, it's not like, oh look, there it's torn, you know what I mean? You can generally tell if there's a path. There would generally be like if there was a path to like one of these coolant or oil jackets, there'd be like a black mark there from the combustion squeezing its way through, and I don't really see any of that, especially on cylinder 2. So, man, I'm at a loss here. I really don't know. I hope maybe one of you guys knows in the comment section. Just so I'm trying to show you guys all this. Maybe someone, I'm sure someone knows what I don't know. Oh, and again, the clutch. I want to show you guys this. This is literally an $80 eBay special. Came with the car. I would have bought a nice one because I would have thought that this wouldn't last. But it's fine. I mean, there's still tons of thickness on the pads. You can see like where the rivets are. They're not at all down to that. And this has, I mean, this has a good bit of driving on it. Granted, I mean, this has been on 3 motors. I've just blown up all 3 pretty quickly. I mean, we got a solid 8 events or so out of this one. So 8 plus 2 plus 2, 12 events plus some street driving. I mean, really though, not bad. It engages nicely. I don't remember what brand it is. I think it's easy to find because it's whichever one has a blue pressure plate. Flywheel still looks fine. I could give someone this thing if they wanted it. I don't need it. All right, that's pretty much that. I'm gonna go ahead and get this block out to the street. I don't really see any need to hold on to any of these pistons or bearings or any of that. I don't see myself getting another 1.8 soon, and if I do, I would hope it wouldn't blow up soon enough for me to need any of this stuff. If nobody knows, maybe it'll remain a mystery forever. What happened to the old 1.8? I mean, it was down to 80 PSI on cylinder 2. You would think there'd be something obvious, but man, I'm just at a loss here. Well, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Funny thing, I forgot to mention this yet. I bought the wrong cam for my motor. I bought the like sloppy stage 1 cam, so I need to buy. I need to order the Jegs one, which is the stage 2. It's 228, 230 duration instead of 221, 224. Swap that out. I'm going to Improved Racing within a few days, pick up some oiling stuff, and we'll be buttoned up with the motor. So look forward to oiling upgrades on the LS 5.3. It's not an LS, but it's easier to type that. Most people don't know, not most people, but a lot of people don't know what a 5.3 is. Sorry I'm leaving this wrench at you guys. Yeah, so that's probably what's next, plus engine bay stuff. We're gonna clean it, strip it, and kind of figure out where we need to start cutting and all that stuff. Transmission, there's a lot going on. There's a lot to do. You guys know how all this goes. So I'll see you for the next video. Yeah, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Goodbye.